promise I won't change locations on you much more after this. I understand it can be confusing, continuity purposes. But today, I am outside of my kitchen. I am at I'm at some family's house while they are out of town. I'm watching their dog. The dog is over there. He's being a good boy. And I'm just trying to enjoy a little bit of the coffee that I brought from my house. Welcome to Boy Meets Beans. I'm Jacob the boy. I don't have any beans. It's actually kind of a sad day. But being away from my usual set isn't going to stop me from making content. Especially because by the time this goes out, I'll have been doing this little video series for about a month. I think 4 or 5 episodes now. And that's super exciting. Thank you all who have watched the first few episodes. It's been a lot of fun trying to figure out exactly what I want the channel to be, trying to get more into the rhythm of talking to a camera, which I'm still trying to get used to. I think I'm doing okay so far. I've gotten a lot of really great feedback from everybody who's watched about ways to make the channel better, different things you guys want me to try. There's some really great engagement going on, and I'm really appreciative of that, you know? I started this out as kind of just a thing to do on a whim, but it's cool to see it kind of come to fruition a little bit more and more every week. That's a lot of fun. So thank you guys for continuing to support it. It's going to continue. This definitely isn't going to be the end of the series. I'm going to keep going with it until I'm told to stop or I get bored, and I'm certainly not bored yet, especially now that I have some cool art, which may or may not be up on the channel by the time you see this. Ben, put up a picture of the art. Thank you, Ben. Shout out to Ben. He made the thing, or him and his wife, Bailey. So thank you for that. 1 like equals 1 bean for Ben and Bay. When I first made this channel, the first episode I did was about pumpkin spice flavored coffee. And I remember saying in that video something along the lines of, if you're going to make pumpkin spice stuff, don't buy coffee that already has the flavor built in. But what I didn't do at the time was try to offer up some examples of syrups. The reason I didn't do that is twofold. Number one, I didn't know ones that were out there. And number two, I didn't think they would be good to recommend. Most syrups are really sweet, you know. I tend to steer away from a lot of syrups and stuff in my coffee just because, number one, I'm a coffee nerd, so I kind of like trying the different styles of coffee and seeing what the coffee flavor itself is. But also, you know, the stuff that goes into these syrups is mostly just sugar. It's very, very sweet, and a lot of different dyes and colors and that kind of stuff. And, you know, in the world today, those are things we try to avoid. But what I decided to do while I was here, because, you know, I love this house, but it doesn't really have great coffee stuff to try to do videos with. And I didn't want to bring any of that with me other than the Vietnamese Fin, which you saw earlier. But I do have a camera, and they have a really good kitchen. So I'm going to try to make something. Boy makes syrup to go in beans. I'm gonna make a pumpkin spice syrup from scratch. No recipe, no really idea of what I'm doing. I'm just gonna try to throw it in there and see what happens, because that frantic energy is the kind of thing I want to exhibit on this channel. I think it can turn out pretty good. I have an idea of what I want to do, and I'm going to record it. We're going to make it. We're going to taste it. And maybe if it's good, we'll put it in some of the coffee that I brought with me. So that's what this will be. A little bit different than usual, but that's okay. We always try different things. So let's, I guess, get into that kitchen and start making stuff. I'm not going to record me going through my entire pantry and stuff because that feels unconsensual in a way. But let's gather some spices. These are already had out. I can't decide if I want to use white sugar or light brown sugar to give it kind of that baking vibe. Hey, Fred? Fred, do you think I should use brown sugar or white sugar? I don't know which would work. Thank you, Fred. Fred's great, isn't he? I heard he poisoned the water hole. That's problematic. We really need to get him out of that canvas. 1 like equals 1 vote to help Fred escape the veil of canvas. Okay, there's no good way to record my head in this, so I'm just gonna give you guys a top-down view, and then we're gonna cut to me actually boiling the water and putting the stuff into the pot. Sound good? Sound good. First things first, we have water. This is about 8 to 10 ounces of water in this very adorable glass container, also known as a pot. Look at this thing. So thick. Thick with 9 C's. Ignore that nasty, look at this. This thing could stop a tank. It's going over here. We're gonna put it on heat in a minute. That will get turned on in a second once I get everything else together. If we pivot back over here, we're gonna be using a few different things. We have cloves, probably just like a pinch of these, like a handful, whole cloves, as you can see in here. gonna be using some allspice. These are just whole allspice pellets. A few of those. We have some nutmeg, ground nutmeg. We're just gonna use a little bit of this. A little of this goes a very, very long way, but definitely a very standard flavoring in, you know, your autumnal pies. Cinnamon sticks. Probably gonna use actually all of these. I think there's 3 in there. Those will hang out. Some brown sugar, some ginger that I need to chop up, and then the secret ingredient, we're gonna use a tiny, 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 tiny bit of crushed red pepper. I'm talking about like the smallest bit imaginable. Imagine a small bit and then make it smaller, and that's what we're gonna be using here. Okay, so the plan is to get everything into the water, turn the gas on, bring the water up to a boil. Once it gets to a boil, we sit it at a boil for like maybe 30, 45 seconds, kill the heat, and then it's just gonna sit. It's gonna sit in that nice hot water for like 20 minutes, or at least until it gets cool enough to transfer into a different container. We'll use like a strainer to get out all the solid bits of spices and stuff, and then that will be the syrup. I've made plenty of syrups before, like simple syrups for mixed drinks and stuff, so this is kind of my go-to method. I've just never done it with this many sort of spices and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I also don't know how the brown sugar is gonna work, but we'll find that out when we get there. This is a journey. Let's get to it. We're also gonna add a little bit of white sugar on top of this brown sugar just to make it an even 2/3 cup. Jesus. This is the sugar container. Also, once again, I'm gonna ask, why is everything so thick here? Look at this. Look at this. It's not a bloody tank. All right. Okay, so that's about 2/3 cup of sugars. Set that right there. We'll whisk that in after we put the spices. Got some cloves here. Just gonna do like a handful. I believe in old lady measurements, this is a pinch of cloves. We're gonna do another old lady measurement and say a dash of allspice. The nutmeg. This is gonna be legitimately like the tiniest amount possible. That'll do. Cinnamon sticks. How many do I have? I have 3 cinnamon sticks. Let's put them all in there. I have the ginger, which I need to cut up. What do you have? A knife! No! We're not gonna do this super fine because I'm gonna strain it all anyway, so I'm not really too concerned about peeling it or whatever. All right, that looks good. Sugar. Just gonna try to get that a little bit more mixed together and incorporated. Doesn't really smell like anything yet, but that's because it hasn't started really doing anything. And then again, tiny. I'm talking like, look, tiny, tiny. Into the pot. Get that rolling. We're gonna get it on high heat. Do a quick whisk. Okay, and then once that gets hot, we'll turn off the heat, and then it's just gonna sit for a period of time until it gets cool, and then we'll taste it. And here we have the final result. Give it the standard boy meets beans swirl, as has become custom. And I gotta say, looks pretty good. Smelled very good as it cooked. Definitely that aroma is something very appealing. I totally understand why people would want to put this in something, because it smelled really good. I'm gonna give it a quick little taste, get a tasting spoon. Give it a smell. Smells like I expected it to smell. Herby. Give it a taste. Good. It's not too sweet, which is what we wanted. Got a lot of cinnamon. You can tell the little bit of nutmeg, also very useful. The red pepper on the back is really interesting. It's not overly spicy by any stretch of the imagination, but it hits the back of your throat. Just, it hits that dingly thing that swings in the dingle of the throat. You know that song. It hits that, and that's really good. I can get behind that. That's pretty good. That would be very good. Not just in coffee. I feel like that'd be really good in a mixed drink too. Maybe a little bit of bourbon or something like that. But yeah, that's really good. I can get behind that. I think what I'll do is I will take it to a friend of mine's house where they have a better sort of espresso hookup, and we'll make a latte with it. So I just had my friend make me a little long pour. I put a little bit of the pumpkin spice syrup in it, so now we're gonna taste it and see how it tastes. So the syrup, I'd say, is good in the coffee. It's not overly sweet, like I said. The spice from the red pepper kind of hits you a little bit at the very end. I would say overall, not a bad first attempt, you know, having not done a single recipe and just kind of like throwing a bunch of stuff into a pot and just seeing what happens. I'd say it's pretty good. You'll have seen the things I put in it pop up as the screen goes, so you can follow along. Let me know if you made some in the comments down below. Feel free to subscribe, like the video, and do all that stuff to keep informed of when I make more. As of this recording, we're close to 20 subscribers, which is kind of cool. The fact that I'm not really doing a lot of marketing and sort of outreach to already have people watching on a regular basis is really fun, so thank you very much. Apparently one of my videos also made it to Coffee Reddit, which is super cool. So if any Redditors are watching, hello. This is probably not what you want to see, but it's a good time at the very least. Go dogs. And if you like the video, hit the buttons down below, the necessary buttons to keep informed. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. And October, I have some really cool ideas planned for some thematically appropriate coffees to try. We'll see what happens. So thank you so much for watching. I'm holding my camera, so I can't do my usual have a good day kind of thing, but salute to you. And wherever you are in the world, enjoy the rest of your day as you see fit.